When I was trying to save money on low income, it was really the little things that added up over time to make a big difference. And that just really meant being resourceful. All right, so I never actually got this bad, but I did have to be a little bit different and weird in order to save money. I was able to save $25,000 by the time I was 22 years old while making way under the median salary. And while doing that might sound extreme or impossible, it is definitely feasible for almost everybody. If you're watching this, then you're probably at a job that you don't love, and I completely relate with that, but having a job you don't love is actually a good thing. And if you're anything like me, you also felt like you didn't really make enough money, but we can change that a little bit. And also how much money you make isn't actually the most important thing. Having a job that I didn't like and I hated, it was nights, weekends, holidays. I remember working like New Year's Eve, and just the motivation that it gave me to get out of this and realize that I can't do this for the next 20, 30, 50 years. I can't continue to do this. It was a great motivator. So if you have a job that you don't love, take heart. It can be a good thing as long as you use it as motivation to take a step forward and you don't just give up and say, it is what it is, I'll be here forever. Having a job that you actively dislike is a positive thing. And depending on what that job is, you can actually use it as a time to learn and better yourself. For me, I was cleaning office buildings. It was nothing glamorous. There was nothing really helpful about it. I didn't learn a ton of useful skills, but what I did do is take advantage of my hours driving in the car to and from different buildings, the time that I had mindless work going on, and listening to hundreds of hours of audiobooks and podcasts and YouTube videos on things that ended up making me tens of thousands of dollars, studying finances, studying myself, learning new and valuable skills. And most of us can do this. It might just mean when you're driving to and from work, you shift from listening to the radio to listening to something that can actually make a difference in your life. Reading books about money and having a growth mindset was 100% the way I started saving money. It was changing my mind. So my first step was really reducing my expenses because I couldn't really earn more money at the time. I didn't have any usable skills. I didn't even finish high school. So I started with reducing my spending and really building up an emergency fund. So if I got in a car accident or a flat tire or just some other random little thing, I wouldn't end up getting into bad debt because of it. But how do you do that? Well, you start with organizing your house. Not like that. Housing is gonna be your biggest expense, normally around 50% of your income. So you have to take care of that first before you think about cutting out the $3 latte, which yes, that is important. You have to worry about what's taking half of your income. The best way to do this is something called rent hacking, which is kind of like the step before house hacking, which is what I'm doing currently, which I'll explain at the end of this video. So make sure you stick around. Rent hacking is the idea of renting out a place that's a little bit bigger than you need. So maybe if you're a single person or a couple, you'd rent out a 3 to 4 bedroom apartment or house. You'd live in one bedroom, you'd rent the other bedrooms out, and that would cover all of your expenses. And then just like that, you have a 50% savings rate. You do that for 1 to 3 years, and you can save tens of thousands of dollars for a short-term sacrifice. Yes, you do have to live with people, but you're saving tens of thousands of dollars. So unless you can earn tens of thousands of dollars another way, I think it's the quickest way to make a big impact. Now, if you're a family, this might be a little bit more difficult, and you might have to do something like Geo Arbitrage, where you move somewhere that's cheaper in your city, where maybe you have a less desirable house. But again, this is for the short term, and if you can save 20 or 50% on your housing simply by moving somewhere else, that might be something that you have to do short term, or you could look into renting out a place that has an in-law attached, or renting out a duplex, living in one side, subletting the other side. There are a bunch of different options when it comes to your housing that you don't need much money to get started in. For most people, this is going to be the best first step that they can take. The next thing to remember is that it starts with actions. A lot of us will watch videos, we'll hype ourselves up, we'll read books, but unless you're taking action, all of this doesn't really matter. So I would recommend taking 5 seconds right now and think about what is a way that you can save $5 to $10 today or tomorrow. What's something you can cut out? Can you bring your own food to work? Can you do something that I love and make your own coffee at home? Can you look up some cheap recipes to make a $2 dinner? I've done tons of videos on tons of meals that you can have for very cheap. Even just calling your cell phone provider or cutting your cable. What are those little things that you can do to save money every single day? And then you actually gotta take action on them. Something I did recently, and I wish I had started a lot sooner, was switch over to the sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. You've probably heard of Mint Mobile. They have those hilarious ads with Ryan Reynolds that I just binge watch.
I love Ryan more than his dumb brother, Terry.
Okay, cut please.
High quality. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, and you don't have to sacrifice any like coverage, speed, or data. When I made this switch, I noticed absolutely no difference. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network, and they keep costs low because they just sell direct to you and me. They don't like have any storefronts or salespeople or anything like that. Thanks to their digital eSIMs card, you can sign up and activate it immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. You just keep your same device and you just switch services. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will ship you a new SIMs card for free. They also show you exactly how much data you use so that they can recommend the best plan for you that's gonna be cheapest. If you guys wanna check them out, use the link down in the description. And thank you again to Mint for sponsoring this video. Now, what will happen to most people and what I used to do is come up with different excuses as to why I can't save money. It might be that you have kids. I've gotten tons of comments saying people can't save money because they have kids. I know tons of people who have kids and have saved money. It might be your spouse, where you live, your job, how much you make, taxes, the government, can be anything under the sun. And instead of shutting off your brain saying, I can't do it, this is how I'm gonna live, this is how I've always lived, this is what it's gonna be forever, we gotta turn on our minds and ask, how can we do this? What can we cut out, or how can we make more money? Don't underestimate your brain, make sure it stays on. It's also important to remember that you can't have it all. You can't go out to dinner every night and get a drink with your friends, go out to bars on the weekend, order pizza all the time, get new clothes, have a shopping addiction, have 27 pairs of shoes and a sweater for every day of the month. We can't have all this material stuff and also have money. By the way, if you're getting some value out of this, it would really mean a lot to me if you would subscribe. Happiness doesn't come from a store. Like, there's been studies on this, and when you go to buy something, you don't actually get the dopamine high from buying something, you get it from the anticipation of buying something. But what you do actually get some happiness from is reducing your stress and not having to worry about if your boss is a terrible boss and is yelling at you all the time and it's terrible, your nights and weekends, and eventually you can get out of that and do something that you love to do every single day, which is something I've been able to do. I was able to leave that job and work a couple days a week doing something I really love to do because of all these things that I talk about and I share, things that are attainable for everybody. That reduction of stress and time to spend doing the things that you care about, that actually can bring some happiness into your life. It's never the stuff or the money that you spent, it's the time that you bought back in your life. I've known people who make $50,000 a year and $500,000 a year, and they can be in the exact same boat. And it's not about how much you're making, it's about how much you're keeping. So that's why this first step of saving money on your big three, the three biggest expenses that most people have, which is their housing with rent hacking, their transportation with either biking or having a little bit of an older car. We also moved down to one car because we realized that that saved us almost as much as Meredith was making, which is kind of crazy, but you look at the average cost of owning a car and it's just astronomical. So it can literally be more cost effective just to stay home with one car than to go out and work once you factor in all the expenses of going to work. And then your food, finding a cheap grocery store, cooking at home, meal planning, eating healthy, being prepared, bringing your own water, all these little things that if you can cut out of your budget make a huge impact. Like, it was crazy when I learned that in order to save 10 grand a year, you just have to save or earn $27.40 a day. That's something that's actually achievable when you put all these together. However, at a certain point, there's only so much money you can save and you actually have to start earning more money. For me, I worked about 3 or 4 different side hustles over the course of 3 years, most of them at the same time. I was doing construction in the morning and then my regular job in the evening. And then on nights and weekends, I was doing YouTube. I was also a real estate agent, plus trying some other random things that didn't really work out. Sometimes when you've cut everything that you can cut, you have to actually earn more money. And again, that was only for a couple years so that I could save up enough money to have the down payment for my first house hack, which for me was buying a triplex with a 3.5% down loan, living in one unit, renting the other ones out. And then I was able to live for free and save all of that money towards buying the next one and the next one, which led me to where I am now, and both me and my wife leaving our jobs. All of that happening in about 6 years. So it's important to remember that these sacrifices that we're going to be making, they're for the short term. You don't have to be extremely frugal forever. You don't have to live in a crappy place forever. But if you don't do something, then nothing's going to happen. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to see how to save 10K fast, you can click right there. Catch you next week.